I never thought dying would feel like logging out of my own life. 1 second. I'm Jasmine Hale, the golden girl of Apex Innovations, pitching our neural interface to a room full of venture capitalists. The next, I'm gasping awake in a body that isn't mine, staring at a face in the mirror that's all sharp angles and smug entitlement, Victor Kane's face. And the real kicker? The man who'd stolen my skin was about to torch everything I'd built, while I choked on the ashes of his mediocre existence. But here's the controversial part that keeps me up at night. I didn't just wake up swapped. I woke up hungry. For blood. For payback. For the kind of justice that doesn't come with a gavel or a HR complaint. Victor had buried me once before, made me the fall guy for his embezzlement scheme 3 years ago. A mistake that cost me my reputation and nearly my freedom.
Now,
in his skin, I was going to dig up every skeleton in his closet and dance on the bones. Call it karma with a kill switch. Or call it the revenge of the overwritten soul. Either way, by the time I was done, Silicon Valley would whisper my name, not Jasmine's, but the ghost who'd hijacked the kingpin and burned his empire to the ground. The glitch hit like a freight train derailing in slow motion. I'd been mid-sentence, my voice steady as I demoed the Apex neural link, our crown jewel, a brain-computer interface that promised to blur the line between mind and machine. Imagine, I said, gesturing to the holographic projection of neural pathways lighting up like New York at midnight, a world where your thoughts command the code. No lag, no limits, just pure, unfiltered innovation. The investors, a pod of white dudes in identical gray suits, nursing overpriced La Colombe from paper cups, leaned in, eyes gleaming with that predatory hunger for the next unicorn. Victor Kane, my co-founder and the serpent in my garden, sat to my right, his Armani tie knotted like a noose he didn't know was coming. He flashed that trademark grin, the one that said I've got this under control, while his hand, out of sight under the table, brushed mine in a way that screamed play along.
Jazz.
Then the screen stuttered. Code rained down in crimson error logs, the hologram warping into a grotesque funhouse mirror of itself. Alarms blared from the hidden speakers, a digital wail that drowned out my words. "What the fuck?" muttered one investor. A balding hedge funder from Sand Hill Road, whose biopic screamed disruptor, but whose vibe was pure midlife crisis. Panic clawed at my throat, but I kept it cool. Jasmine Hale didn't crumble. Not after the 23 scandal. When I'd taken the heat for Victor's accounting oversight that siphoned $2 million from our seed round. I'd confessed to the board, spun it as a rookie error, and watched my equity tank while Victor played the savior, rallying the troops with his silver tongue. It was my scarlet letter, branded across every pitch deck since, Jasmine Hale, the woman who almost sank Apex. But this was sabotage. I could smell it, acrid as burnt silicon. Victor's eyes widened in feigned shock, but I caught the flicker, the microsecond of glee before the mask snapped back.
Jazz.
"Reboot the system," he hissed, low enough for only me to hear. As if I hadn't coded this beast from scratch. I dove under the table, fingers flying over the hidden access panel. But it was too late. The main projector seized, spitting out a torrent of data, emails, wire transfers, encrypted logs. And there, blooming across the 40-foot screen like a digital crime scene photo, was me. My face. My signature. Authorizing a ghost transfer to an offshore account. The investors gasped, chairs scraping back as whispers turned to outright shouts. Holy shit. Is that embezzlement? Again? This is the second time. Victor's hand clamped on my shoulder, yanking me up like a puppet.
Jazz.
What the hell is this? His voice cracked with Oscar-worthy outrage, but his grip said gotcha. I wrenched free, heart hammering. It's not, but the words died as security burst in, tasers at the ready, and the room dissolved into chaos. Cuffs snapped cold around my wrists, the metallic click echoing like a guillotine. As they dragged me past Victor, his eyes met mine cold, triumphant. Checkmate,
They said.
they say your life flashes before your eyes in moments like that. Mine didn't. Instead, I saw futures, ruined, rewritten, revoked. The Neuralink demo was supposed to be our Hail Mary, the pivot from AI hype to actual mind-meld tech. We'd poured everything into it. Nights blurred into dawn at our Palo Alto labs, fueled by Red Bull and resentment. Victor had always been the face, the schmoozer with VC Rolodex thicker than his conscience. I was the brain, the one who debugged his half-baked ideas into gold. But 3 years ago, when the auditors came knocking, he'd whispered in my ear over takeout pho at midnight, "Take the fall.
Jazz.
For us. For Apex." And like the idiot optimist I was, I'd believed in us. Signed the confession, ate the blame, rebuilt from the rubble while he climbed higher on my broken ladder. It was betrayal distilled, sharp, lingering, the kind that festers like bad code. In the holding cell at the county jail, fluorescent buzz drilling into my skull, I paced the concrete like a caged algorithm hunting for an exit. My lawyer, some overbilled shark Victor had recommended, showed up at dawn. Ty Askew, promising a plea deal. Misdemeanor. Maybe community service. But Jazz. The evidence. It's ironclad. Ironclad my ass, I snarled, slamming my palm on the metal table. Victor's framing me. Again, she sighed. That patronizing bless your heart exhale only Bay Area attorney's perfect. Look, Jasmine. Apex is tanking without you two in sync. Victor's already spinning this to the board, says you're burned out, cracking under pressure. If you fight, it's war.
War.
The word hung there.
Tempting.
But I was exhausted, hollowed out.
Fine. Plea.
She nodded, packing her briefcase. Smart girl. They released me on my own recognizance by noon, the sun mocking me through smoggy skies as I Ubered back to the office. The building loomed like a glass monolith of regret, 10 stories of sleek minimalism hiding server farms humming with stolen dreams. Security buzzed me in, their nods awkward.
Pitying.
Poor Jasmine. At it again. Victor's office was on the top floor, a corner suite with views of the Dumbarton Bridge snaking into the haze. I didn't knock. The door flew open, and there he was, feet up on his desk, my desk. Really? Since I designed the damn thing, sipping a Negroni like he'd won the lottery. Jazzy, he drawled, that Boston accent he'd never shaken creeping in when he was smug. You look like hell. Fuck you. Victor. I crossed the room, fists balled. What was that? Another setup. He set the glass down. Slow. Deliberate. Leaning back. He steepled his fingers, textbook power pose. Setup?
Come on.
The system's glitchy, you know that. Neuralink's bleeding edge. Shit happens. Bullshit. I jabbed a finger at his chest. Those logs were forged. My SIG. My IP. You're burying me to bury the evidence of your offshore fun. His laugh was a bark, genuine amusement twisting his features. Victor Kane, mid-40s. Salt and pepper hair that screamed distinguished. Jawline like a Marvel villain. Harvard MBA. TED Talk darling. The guy who could charm a nun out of her habit. But up close, you saw the cracks, the Botox lines, the eyes that darted like faulty cursors. Paranoid much? He stood, closing the distance. His cologne, some overpriced Tom Ford, cloying. Look,
Babe.
we've been through worse. Remember 23? You manned up. We bounced back stronger. This is just turbulence. Turbulence. As if my life was a Southwest flight to Reno. I shoved him back, hard enough to rattle the ficus. Don't babe me. I covered for you then. Lied to the feds. Tanked my cred. And now, you're letting them think I'm the leak. Because you are the leak.
Jazz.
His voice dropped. Venom sweet. Or have you forgotten the emails you sent? The ones begging for a cut of a side hustle? I have backups. Screenshots. The board sees a desperate woman cracking. Not a co-founder betrayed. The room spun. Emails? I'd never. But doubt wormed in. Oily and insistent. Had I, in a weak moment, over wine, venting about equity splits?
No.
This was gaslighting. Victor style. Get out, he said softly, straightening his tie. Before I call security. Again, I left, the door clicking shut like a vault seal. In the elevator, mirrors threw back a stranger, disheveled hair, mascara tracks, the walk of a woman who'd just been eviscerated. Back at my apartment in Mountain View, a sterile two-bed with IKEA regrets and a balcony view of power lines, I poured a glass of Napa Cab and stared at the Neuralink prototype on my coffee table. It hummed faintly, a sleek headband of matte black alloy laced with quantum threads. Our baby. My baby. That night, insomnia's grip tightened. I strapped on the prototype, syncing it to my laptop for a diagnostic run. Calibrate, I murmured, the band warming against my temples. The interface bloomed in my vision, augmented overlays, code streams like digital rivers. I dove in, hunting for the glitch. Hours blurred. Then, deep in the core algorithms, I found it, a backdoor. Elegant. Vicious. Victor's signature all over it, a recursive loop designed to fabricate logs. Pin faults on the primary user.
Me.
Rage boiled. Hot and clarifying. I yanked the band off, but the world tilted. Pain lanced through my skull. Electric and wrong. Visions assaulted me. Victor's face. Contorted in concentration. Muttering incantations over the device. Symbiosis protocol, he whispered to the empty lab. Swap on failure. Override complete. Symbiosis? That was theoretical, fringe psych neuro bullshit we'd shelved after ethics flagged it. Body swaps by neural mapping? Sci-fi wet dream. Not deployable tech. But Victor. He'd pushed it. In secret. Chasing God mode. The pain peaked. A supernova behind my eyes. I convulsed. The room fracturing into shards of light. And then nothing. I woke to silk sheets that smelled of sandalwood and regret. My body felt
Off.
heavier in the chest, lighter in the limbs. The ceiling above was vaulted. Exposed beams, Victor's loft in Soma. The one he'd bought with our round B money.
No. God. No.
I bolted upright. sheets tangling, and stumbled to the ensuite bathroom. The mirror delivered the gut punch. Victor Kane stared back, stubble-shadowed and wide-eyed. My hands trembled as I touched the unfamiliar jaw, the faint scar from a roid rage bar fight in college he'd bragged about. "What the fuck?" the voice rumbled, his voice baritone and commanding. I clapped a hand over my mouth, muffling the echo. The swap. It had triggered. Symbiosis protocol on critical failure, map and migrate consciousness. Victor in my body, me in his. A neural hijack, irreversible without the kill code. And the kill code? Buried in our servers, locked behind biometrics that were now mine to fake. I laughed, a hollow bark that ricocheted off marble tiles. Controversial? Try existential theft.
He'd stolen my life.
My face. My future.
But now,
in his skin, I had access. Keys to the kingdom. And kingdoms fall from within. First things first, play the part. I dressed in his closet, crisp button-down, slim chinos that hung wrong on my frame, and headed to Apex. The drive in his Tesla was surreal, autopilot humming as SF's fog swallowed the Bay Bridge tolls. At the office, heads turned, but no one blinked. Victor Kane, striding in like he owns the place. Which, technically,
he did.
Jazz is out, I announced at the morning stand-up, channeling his drawl. Personal leave. Rough demo yesterday.
Nods.
Murmurs of sympathy. No one questioned Victor. By lunch, I'd hacked his personal drive from his desk terminal, irony's a bitch. There it was, the full ledger. Not 2 mil, but 20. Siphoned over years. Laundered through shell core in the Caymans. And the kicker? The 23 mistake wasn't a mistake. It was a test run. I'd taken the fall to cover his first big lift, all while he romanced board members with my tech. Buried deeper, emails to a fixer, some ex-NSA spook named Harlan. Eliminate loose ends, one read. Loose ends like me, or the whistleblower intern who'd vanished after asking too many questions about the Neuralink trials. His hands curled into fists. Revenge wasn't a plan, it was protocol. Step 1, isolate. I scheduled a one-on-one with the CFO, a mousy guy named Patel who'd always side-eyed Victor's excesses. We're auditing the books, I told him. Victor's charm dialed to 11. Deep dive. Discretion key. Patel's eyes widened. Sir, after yesterday. Especially after. I leaned in, letting the threat hang. Jasmine's implicated. But we're containing.
He swallowed,
Nodding furiously. By end of day, I had the ledgers printed, stashed in a burner briefcase. Step 2, leverage. I texted myself Jasmine's phone. Now in Victor's sticky grasp from his device, we need to talk. Off books. The pier. Midnight. The Golden Gate's underbelly at night is a ghost town of salt spray and shadows. Tourists long fled to their arms. I waited in Victor's overcoat, the wind whipping off the bay like accusations. Footsteps echoed, hesitant, feminine. My body emerged from the gloom, street lamp catching the familiar curve of hip, the defiant tilt of chin. But the eyes. Victor's eyes. Calculating. Full. Jazzy, he purred in my voice. A perversion that twisted my gut. Miss me? You sick fuck. The words came out gruff. His timbre. Give it back. He laughed. My laugh, bright. Cutting. Give what? Your shell?
Nah.
This upgrade suits me. Lighter load. Better curves. And the board? They love coherent leadership. I stepped closer. The pier creaking under us. The back door. The swap. You planned this. Guilty. He shrugged. My shoulders rolling easy. Neuralink wasn't just product.
Jazz.
It was power. Symbiosis means control. I tested it on the intern. Poor kid thought it was beta VR. Mapped him out. Slipped in for a joyride. Then you, with your glitchy demo? Perfect trigger. The intern disappeared after questions. You killed him. Overwritten. Cleaner than a bullet. His grin, my grin, widened. And you? You'll fade. The fall guy. Twice over. By morning. Apex Files Chapter 11. I pivot to a new venture in your skin. Investors eat it up. Redemption arc. Rage surged. A firewall breach. I lunged, but he danced back. Lithe in my frame. Temper. Victor. Or should I say, Jasmine? He pulled a drive from his pocket, my pocket. Kill code's here. But you'll never get it. Not without me. We grappled. The purest stage for our grotesque pas de deux. He was faster. My body honed by yoga and spite. A knee to his groin, my groin dropped me wheezing. Pathetic, he spat. Pinning me. You always were the soft one. Taking falls. Playing nice. Time to log off. His hands, my hands, closed around his throat. Black spots danced. Then, instinct, the neural link implant, still synced from the prototype. I focused, willing the interface live. A jolt arced between us. Feedback loop igniting. He screamed, my scream, as code flooded the link. We dropped, convulsing in tandem. When the world resettled, I gasped awake alone. The drive clutched in Victor's fist. No swap reversal. But his eyes, when they fluttered open in my body across the pier. They were blank. Rebooted. Empty.
No.
Not empty. Overwritten. I'd pushed back, flooded him with junk data. Aneirel dos. Victor Kane, trapped in my shell, reduced to a vegetable staring at the stars. I staggered up, pocketing the drive. Sirens wailed distant. Someone saw the scuffle. Time to vanish. But first, Apex. In Victor's skin, I'd gut it from inside. Dawn broke over the bay like a guilty conscience. Pink and polluted. I ditched Victor's Tesla in a Long Beach lot, too hot, too traceable, and hot-wired a beater Civic from the impound whispers I'd gleaned from his emails. Cash from his wallet. A burner phone from a bodega in Oakland. Jasmine Hale was a ghost now. Her apartment sealed by cops. Her face plastered on tech blogs. Apex co-founder in embezzlement scandal. Again. Victor Kane. Though, he was golden. I logged into his accounts from a VPN in a dingy internet cafe off Market Street. The kind where junkies nod off at terminals and the air tastes like stale ramen. Emails flooded in. Board sympathy. VC damage control. Even a flirty note from his side piece at Sequoia. I replied in his clip style. All good. Jazz cracking. Contained a buying time. The drive burned in my pocket. Kill code. Reversal. But using it meant confronting the husk on the pier. Cops had scooped him up by now, me. Catatonic. ID'd as Jasmine Hale. Official story. Suicide attempt. Neural overload from black market tech. Poetic. Really? Victor's empire crumbling under the weight of my breakdown. But revenge isn't a quick debug. It's a slow burn. I needed to dismantle him piece by piece. Make the mighty fall in ways that sparked headlines, debates, Senate hearings. Controversial decisions? Hell. I'd author the manifesto. First target, Harlan. The fixer. Victor's emails painted him as a shadow, ex-intel. Now private contractor, specializing in data hygiene. I traced his last ping to a strip mall in Fremont, sandwiched between a talk area and a vape shop. Posing as Victor, easy with his face. Harder with the voice modulator app on the burner, I set a meet. Urgent cleanup. Apex fallout. Harlan was a slab of a man. A crew cut graying at the temples. Eyes like dead pixels. We sat in his unmarked SUV, parked in the lot of a defunct Circuit City. The dash cam's red light winking like a cyclops. Kane, he grunted, not looking up from his tablet. Heard about your girl. Messy. Messy needs mopping. I slid a photo across stock image of a generic brunette, but Harlan didn't flinch. She knows too much. The intern. The transfers. Make it clean. Like last time. He paused, finally glancing over. Something in my posture, too tense, too Jasmine, ticked his radar. Last time was the kid. VR accident. Right? You said no bodies. Times change. I forced Victor's smirk. 50K. Wired now. Harlan's laugh was a wheeze. Wired?
Nah.
Cash or crypto? And you look off.
Vic.
Lost weight? Or is that guilt? The air thickened, tension coiling like a spring. My hand, his hand, inched toward the glove box, where Victor's unregistered Glock hid per his prepper phase emails. Harlan noticed, his own paw drifting to his hip. Spill it, he said, voice flat. What's the play? Hale's already down, catatonic on a psych ward drip. You want her erased?
Erased.
The word landed like a gut punch.
Me? Erased.
For what? A few mil and a god complex? Fuck playing nice. I lunged, the Glock cold in my grip. Harlan was fast, ex-spook fast, but surprise was mine. The shot cracked muffled through a silencer I'd grabbed from Victor's safe, burying in his thigh. He howled, fumbling for his piece. But I was on him, pressing the barrel to his temple. Talk, I growled, Victor's baritone a weapon. The intern. What happened? Sweat beaded on his brow, blood soaking the seat.
Swap.
Trial. Kane mapped the kid. Overwrote. Consciousness dumped to a server, backup soul. He called it. But it glitched. Kid's echo screamed for days, till Kane pulled the plug. Echo. The word chilled me. If Victor had backups. And Jasmine? Harlan gasped. Same deal. But you're not Kane. Smart man. The second shot ended the debate. Point blank and final. Controversial? Assassination in broad daylight. Even in a tinted SUV. Screams vigilante justice. But Harlan was the loose end I was tying off for the intern, for the shadows Victor cast. I wiped the gun, ditched it in a storm drain off 880, and torched the Civic in an industrial yard near the port. New ride, a Harley from a chop shop, Cash deal. No questions. As I roared south on 101, wind scouring Victor's face raw. The radio crackled with news. Tech heiress in coma after apparent neural implant malfunction. Questions mount for Apex Innovations. Mount they would. Back in Victor's loft, now my war room, I cracked the drive. Kill code stared back. A quantum key, fragile as spun glass. Input it wrong. And poof, permanent swap. But reversal meant facing the psych ward. Risking exposure.
Or
I could weaponize it. Map him out. Trap his essence in a loop of his own making. Deeper in the files, Victor's manifesto. Scrawled notes on neural equity, the rich uploading to stronger shells, the weak discarded. He'd targeted me because I was optimal, young, brilliant, unscarred. The betrayal cut cosmic, not just professional, but existential. He'd envied my mind, coveted my body, all while I slaved to build his throne. Next move, the board. I convened an emergency call from Victor's yacht, docked in Sausalito. A floating monument to excess. The screen split into faces. Patel sweating. Elena from legal chain smoking. The VCs circling like sharks. Gentlemen. Ladies, I intoned. Victor's gravitas on loan. Apex is compromised. Jasmine's. Actions exposed systemic rot. Murmurs. Elena stubbed her cig. What rot? Victor? The logs. Worse. I patched in the ledgers, redacted. Of course.
pinning it all on me.
20 mil gone. Offshore. And the intern? Not a dropout. A casualty.
Gasps.
The hedge funder from the demo slammed his desk.
Jesus.
Vic. Cover up? We're pulling funding. Wait. I leaned in. Shadows playing dramatic. I have a fix. Liquidate quietly. I buy you out at premium. Rebrand as Kane Neural. Clean slate. They balked. Controversial as hell. Insider bailout in a scandal, but greed won. By call's end. Handshakes virtual. Apex was mine. Victor's.
Technically.
I sold off patents to a Chinese consortium for a cool 80 mil. Wired to a Cayman account I'd just opened. Poetic recycling. But power's a drug, and I was hooked. Step 3. The media. I leaked to Kara Swisher's tip line, anonymized docs framing Victor as the puppet master, Jasmine as the martyr. TechCrunch ran it at midnight, inside Apex, co-founder's dark secret, body-swapping tech, and missing millions. Twitter, X, whatever, exploded. Apex swap trended. Memes of Victor's face on swap meet bodies. Debates raging. Was Jasmine a whistleblower or a fraud? Feminists rallied for me. Bros defended Victor as disruptive genius. Controversial gold. Flush with cash. I went dark. Hole up in a Joshua Tree Airbnb. Victor would have hated the desert vibe. Too woo-woo, and planned the endgame. The psych ward held my body. Victor's mind rotting in limbo. Guards bribed with crypto. A black market doc on payroll. He'd wake. Disoriented. In my skin. No ID. No allies. I prepped the neural link. Upgraded with the drive's code for the finale. Symbiosis 2.0. Not swap. But merge. Force his essence into mine. Overwrite with my backups. I'd be whole. He'd be the echo. Screaming in silicon eternity. The drive to SF was a blur. Desert heat giving way to coastal chill. At the ward, a sterile bunker off Van Ness, I flashed Victor's credentials. The doc ushering me to the isolation room. There I lay, tubes snaking, monitors beeping a dirge. My face, slack and serene, hid the monster within. She's stable, the doc murmured, avoiding my Victor's eyes. But comatose. EEG flatlines. Not for long. I strapped on the headband,
Sinking to Hermy.
the merge initiated. A torrent of data bridging the gap. Pain bloomed. Dual, his memories flooding mine. Mine assaulting his. Flashes. Victor's childhood. Daddy's belt leaving welts. Harvard hazing. Breaking bones to fit in. The first kill. Not the intern, but a rival startup founder. Dosed and drowned in Lake Tahoe. Buried secrets. The mistake in 23? I'd signed those docs. Yes, but under duress. After he dosed my wine with roofies, forging my consent. Betrayal inverted. I'd known.
Deep down.
Taken the fall not for love, but survival.
And now?
Payback. The merge peaked. His mind thrashed no. Jazzy. Please, but I held. Code inexorable. Essence transferred. Victor's soul digitized. Archived in a loop of his own failures. Reliving the pier. The boardroom. The belt. Eternally. I gasped awake in my body. The room spinning.
Whole.
Jasmine Hale.
Restored.
The doc stared. Mouth agape. How? Trade's secret. I ripped IVs free. Legs wobbling but mine. Sirens wailed. Alert triggered. I bolted. Into the night. Cash and code my only luggage. But as I vanished into the fog, a whisper nagged. Was this justice? Or just another swap? Victor's echoes in my head. Faint but persistent. Merge wasn't clean. Fragments lingered. His cunning. My rage blended. Volatile. The twist coiled. Waiting. 3 months. That's how long I ran, zigzagging from Portland's hipster haze to New Orleans' humid underbelly. A ghost in dive bars and Dropbox dead drops. The headlines chased me like hounds. Apex implodes. Victor Kane vanishes amid scandal. His loft ransacked by feds. Ledgers leaked wider. Harlan's body fished from the bay. Title. They said. But I knew better. Justice for Jasmine trended eternal. Podcasts dissecting the swap myth as urban legend or psyop. I holed up in a shotgun shack in the bywater. Walls peeling like old code. The Mississippi's drone a constant companion. Cash dwindled. 80 mil sounds baller until Uncle Sam sniffs embezzlement. But I wasn't broke, I was brewing. The Neuralink fragments in my implant hummed. Victor's echoes a low buzz. You're me now.
Jazz.
Ruthless. Right? He wasn't wrong. The merge had scarred me, his memories bleeding into mine like ink in water.
Nights.
I'd wake sweating, reliving his highs, closing round A. Betting the sequoia in turn. The god rush of overriding a soul. It fueled the plan, twisted it darker. Endgame, expose it all. Not for catharsis, but controversy. Make the world debate. Was body swapping ethical evolution or fascist fever dream? I dropped the code, open sourced the kill switch, let hackers and ethicists war it out. Victor's empire, democratized into chaos. But first, the board. They scattered post-collapse, Patel to Mumbai, Elena to a boutique firm in LA. The VCs lawyered up in bunkers. I tracked Elena first, easiest mark. Her vanity Google-able. Yoga retreat in Big Sur. That California cult of enlightenment for the guilty. I crashed it incognito. Cropped hair. Contacts. A fabricated backstory as tech refugee. Elena spotted me day 2. Mid-downward dog on a cliffside mat. The Pacific crashing below like applause. Jasmine, she hissed. Towel dabbing sweat. Her eyes darted. Fear. Fascination. But you're dead. Or catatonic. The news. News lies. I dropped into child's pose beside her. Voice low. Victor's the corpse. I'm the upgrade. She bolted post-session. But I followed, rental Prius tailing her Tesla through redwoods to a seaside inn. Confrontation in the lobby. Overpriced kombucha steaming between us. You stole it, she whispered, glancing at the crystal chandeliers. The merge.
How?
Science. Spite. I slid a USB across the table, dossier on her. Kickbacks from Victor's shells. Her signature on the intern's NDA. You knew. The trials. The swaps. Covered for him. Her face crumpled. Botox cracking. He promised equity. A seat. I was building a life, kids' tuition. The mortgage.
It was.
Complicit.
Yes.
But murder? Overwrites worse than murder. Victor's echo purred in my head. Tell her about the rush.
Jazz.
The power. I shoved it down. Testify. Full disclosure. Or this leaks with your face on it. She agreed.
Tear-streaked.
By week's end, Elena's affidavit hit anonymous drops. Apex's dark underbelly. Neural experiments on unwitting staff. Victor's God complex. The VCs folded next, subpoenas flying. Settlements bleeding them dry. Patel was trickier. Back in Mumbai. Holed in a Bandra high-rise. He'd pivoted to fintech startups. I flew economy, slumming in a guest house that reeked of curry and regret. Me was a trap. His driver ambushed me in the alley. Goons with cricket bats and broken English. Canes send. One grunted. Swinging. I dodged. Implant firing, augmented reflexes. Victor's black belt scraps bleeding through. A knee to the gut. Elbow to the throat. The second went down choking on his own teeth. Controversial? Street brawl in Bollywood backstreets. A white woman in Victor's lingering pallor, laying waste. But survival's not polite. Patel waited upstairs. Terrace view of slums bleeding into sea. MS. Hail, he said. No surprise. Or whoever. Tea. We sipped chai. The city throbbing below. You audited nothing, I said. Falsified for Victor. The 20 mil, your cut. He nodded. Weary. Family debt. Sister's weddings. Mother's care. He owned me. Owes you karma. I didn't pull the drive. Patel wasn't killer. Just coward. His confession taped. Wired to Reuters. Apex CFO implicates all in massive fraud. The world ignited. Senate hearings. Elizabeth Warren railing against tech overlords playing Frankenstein. Hackers cracked the open-source code. Neuralink forks popping like weeds. Underground swaps in Berlin basements. Ethical debates fracturing Reddit into civil war. Was I hero? Freeing minds? Or hubris? Unleashing demons? Victor's echo laughed. Chaos is the point.
Jazz.
We win either way. The climax brewed in D.C. Summons to testify. Anonymous tip from Elena. I prepped in a Georgetown brownstone. Rented under a shell. Mirror through back Jasmine, sharper eyes. Haunted smile. Merge scars, his cunning lace my code. Made decisions debatable. Kill the echoes? Or harness? Hearing day dawned crisp. Capitol steps swarmed with press. I strode in, pantsuit tailored sharp. No notes, just truth. Committee chairs glowered, senators from both aisles. Smelling blood. MS. Hail, drawled a Texas drawl. All bluster. You claim Apex experimented on humans without consent. Body swaps? Sounds like sci-fi, not subpoena fodder. I met his gaze. It's real. Victor Kane built it to steal lives, mine included. Slides projected, logs, affidavits, the manifesto. Gasps rippled. He framed me once, overwrote me the second. I took it back. Murmurs swelled. A blue state senator leaned in. Vigilante justice? You killed him. Echo buzzed. Say yes. Own it. But I paused. Controversial fork.
No. Worse.
I trapped him. Echo in the machine, reliving his sins. Mercy would be deletion. The room erupted. Pro-lifers decried digital torture. Libertarians hailed self-defense 2.0. Cameras flashed. My face the new avatar of debate. Post-hearing, feds tailed. FBI van idling curbside. I slipped them in a metro tunnel. Implant guiding blind spots. Back at the brownstone, the twist hit. A package on the stoop, unmarked. Inside, the original prototype. Headband scarred. Note in Victor's scrawl. Miss me? Backup restored. Your move.
No.
Impossible. I'd archived him, looped. Inert. But the merge. Fragments. He'd seeded one. A viral echo. Uploading during the chaos.
Now.
Free. Plotting.
Panic spiked.
But so did thrill. His memories surged, a hidden server farm in Reno. Quantum proof. I raced west. Red-eye to Oakland. Then a stolen Jeep into Nevada dust. The facility loomed. Anonymous warehouse. Guards in black. Breach was surgical implant hacks disabling cams. Victor's passcodes whispering access. Inner sanctum. Racks humming. Central console glowing. There, him. Not body, but avatar holographic Victor. Smirking in ether. Jazzy. It purred. Voice tinny. Took you long enough. You're not real. I strapped on the console's interface. Code arming for purge. Real enough. The hollow flickered. Pulling my memories. Our merge bidirectional. You think you won?
I am you now.
The ruthlessness. The hunger. We swapped more than bodies.
Lies.
But doubt gnawed. The purge initiated. Data streams clashing like thunderheads. His echo fought, flashes of us. The faux nights. The betrayal's birth. My complicity in Apex's grind. Enabling his rise. You took the fall 23, he taunted. Code fraying. Not duress. You chose. Loved the drama. The savior role. We're the same, broken code chasing godhood. The twist reversed, truth inverted. I'd known the roofies. The forgeries, subconscious flags in emails I'd buried. Not victim pure, but enabler. Addicted to the toxicity. Revenge? Or self-reckoning? Streams collided. I could purge him, end the echo. Claim soul. Or merge deeper. Accept the hybrid, Jasmine Victor. Whole in duality. Sirens wailed. Feds triangulated the breach.
Choice crystallized.
Controversial to the core, I halted the purge. Let the echo linger. A devil on my shoulder. Better two flawed minds than one fractured. We fled together, me and flesh. Him an implant, into the desert night. Apex's ashes birthed a new venture. Ethical neural tech. Open to all. But whispers followed. Is Jasmine Hale redeemed? Or reborn monster? Ending? You decide. Happy. I build empires anew. Echoes harmonizing. Tragic. The hybrid unravels. Swap eternal. Either way. Silicon Valley, debates. And we watch from the shadows. Coding the next disruption.